Hello, welcome to the National Literacy Agency online storytelling program. Today I would like to tell you a story that my friend and I have heard while we were in England. It was told by the famous storyteller Nick Hennessy. The title of this story is Nelly McGee. So it is story time. You look and you listen. Well done. Once upon a time there was a man who was walking back home from work. Unfortunately, he was caught in a storm. It was raining very hard. The north wind blew and blew and blew. All he had was a jacket, and he just held it very tight. As if the rain was not enough, there was also a hailstorm. The hailstones were as big as mothballs, and he was hit, and it was painful. It was cold, so very cold. And the man thought that it would be best if he took a turn and go through the fields. But he was lost. The soil was very wet and soggy. He just didn't know where to put his feet. There was thunder, there was lightning, but at least the lightning helped him see the path where he had to walk on. And he walked very slowly, being hit by those hailstones, the rain, the wind. Oh, it was frightening, it was awful. And then he saw a small light, not too far away from where he was walking. It was a one-story house, and he got to it. He started shouting and shouting. He was kicking at the door and hitting and hitting. It was painful. It was so cold. His hands were really, really painful. And then an old man opened the door. He looked at the man. "Come in, come in. Oh, look who's here. We're truly lucky. But Nelly McGee, what the hell are you doing in such a weather? The atmosphere is so cold. What are you doing down here?" And the man just looked at him, Nelly McGee, and just to himself he said, "Nelly McGee? Who the hell is Nelly McGee?" And the old man called his wife. Wife, look who's come to see us. It's Nelly McGee, the storyteller." And the man was all confused. He forgot his name, he forgot where he came from, he forgot where he was going. Oh dear, Nelly McGee. One thing he was sure of, he was not Nelly McGee. He knew no stories. And the old man said, sit down in my chair, here, just by the fire. I will give you warm clothes. Wife, bring him a blanket and bring him some of our cider. Let's make this man warm. And he changed into warm clothes, and the blanket did help. And he was drinking the cider. It was good, so very good. And after that, the old lady brought him some delicious soup. Here, my friend, eat, keep yourself warm, but You will promise to tell us a story after all this. We're treating you really well. Warm clothes, cider, the best seat near the fire, warm soup. You will tell us a story, won't you? And the man just nodded, but he just didn't know what he was going to do with himself. He drank the soup. He tried to think, but the confusion was huge. The old man said that he was going to give him a bedroom that was very cozy, with a nice quilt to keep him warm, the best room in the house. But after he ate, after he drank, when he was warm, the old man, the old lady, they sat down beside him near the fire, and they wanted to listen to a story. Come on, Nelly, story time. I'm not Nelly. I'm sorry, I think you are confusing me with someone else. Oh, go on, Nelly, don't be shy. Tell us a story. I am not Nelly. I know no stories. What a selfish man, pretending not to be Nelly McGee. After we gave you warm clothes and the good cider and warm soup and the best seat in the house beside the fire. Oh no, I will not give you the best room in the house. I will give you the most cold. I will give you the room that is most cold. Go upstairs. You don't want to tell us a story? Well, make sure that you are out of this house before I wake up tomorrow morning, and that should be at around 4 o'clock. Did you hear me now? Nodded Nelly McGee. But who was this man? He was in a very cold room. There was even a window pane that was broken, and the wind from the north was blowing. There wasn't even a mattress on the bed. He was cold. He sat in a corner in the room. But who's Nelly McGee? I'm not Nelly McGee, but who am I? When all of a sudden he heard voices from outside, and the voices were saying, "Who will open the window for us? Who will open the window for us? Who will open the window so we can enter into the bedroom where there is Nelly McGee?" And the man was frightened. He just went on all fours and looked from the corner of the window, and all he saw were cloaks with hoods, black clothes and hoods, no face, no hands, no arms, no legs, just black cloaks and hoods. Walking, I don't know how, flying, no legs, towards the window. And one side was saying, "Who will open the window?" And the other side was saying, But Nelly McGee himself, of course. Who will? But Nelly McGee himself, of course. But Nelly did not open the window. He went back to the corner. He covered his face, his head, and he was trembling with fear, when one of the cloaks blew very hard. And the window just opened. And these cloaks and hoods were inside the room. And who will walk with us out in the garden? And one row said, but of course Nelly McGee. And the other group said, who will walk with us in the gardens? But of course Nelly McGee. But Nelly McGee, he wouldn't stand up. But without knowing how, he simply couldn't explain it. He just found himself with his feet in the air, and he was between the cloaks with the black hood, and he found himself walking, flying in the air between these two rows of cloaks. And he was in the garden, out of the window and in the garden, where it was cold and he was shivering. And one row said, and who will dig a hole for Nelly McGee? And the other row said, but Nelly McGee himself, of course. Who will dig a hole for Nelly McGee? But Nelly McGee himself, of course. But Nelly McGee, he didn't know what to do. But without knowing, he found himself holding a spade and digging a hole, digging and throwing the soil far away, digging that wet and soggy soil became so heavy. But with no explanation, he made a huge square. No, it was a rectangle. It was deep enough for a man, for a person to lie in. And one row said, and who will lie in the hole now? This is the grave for Nelly McGee. And the other row said, but Nelly McGee himself, he will lie in the grave. Who will lie in the hole as a grave? But Nelly McGee himself. And Nelly McGee was so frightened, and he screamed, and he shouted, and he was sweating, even though it was cold. It was freezing. No, I will do nothing of the sort. You will never bury me in this hole. And he ran towards the house, and there he climbed on a tree, and he jumped into the bedroom again. He shut the window. He took the bed with no mattress on, and he put the bed against that window. And he sat down in the corner, all frightened. No, I will not be buried. No. And he slept. He was so frightened. He was exhausted. Most probably, it was not sleeping. He fainted. And the next morning, it was after 4 o'clock. He opened the door and he went downstairs. and there was the old man. "How dare you? You shouldn't be here. I told you I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted you out before 4 o'clock in the morning." "But listen, old man. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you, please, I beg you." And he sat down on the cozy chair, and he told him all that happened during the night. How the cloaks, the black cloaks with the hoods, how they lifted him up, how they opened the window, entered the room, how they made him dig a hole. How frightening it was, how he ran away, and the grave. And the old man laughed. "Oh, Nelly McGee, this is the best story ever. Come, wife, listen to Nelly. He has a story. I want to listen to it again. Come on, woman, let's listen to this." And they laughed and laughed, and they gave him breakfast and more food to take with him. "You're not too far away from the village. There's no storm anymore. It's very nice outside. Go, Nelly, go and tell your stories and make people happy." Nelly McGee, but who am I? Who am I really? He couldn't remember. So he simply settled for Nelly McGee. He walked down a path, and rightfully so, he was in the village very soon. What am I going to do? He found a corner, a good corner, and he was shouting, "Come on, people! Come and listen to the story! Come and listen to Nelly McGee! I will tell you a story that you will never forget. I will tell you a story that might frighten you to death. Listen!" And there was a crowd, and they listened, and they liked the story. And Nelly McGee walked further on, and sometimes he stopped to tell the story, and people gave him money or food, and he lived a happy life for the rest of his life. And that is the end of my story today. I truly hope that you have enjoyed it. Did it frighten you to death? No. Good. So until we meet again, bye-bye for now.